Hey, my beautiful people. So, I have decided to start to do like a little, I guess you can call it video diary type thing, podcast, whatever you want to call it. So, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about motherhood. And I said, you know what? Let me just do a daily or a couple times a day videos about my mom life because I get so many questions. There's no reason why I shouldn't. So, on episode one of Mom Life, we're going to talk about the birthing process because I have like 6 female acquaintances, friends, people I know that are pregnant who have asked me a ton of questions because I've gone through a few pregnancies. I have a total of 9 that I've given birth to, but my 11-year-old was a twin, so I miscarried his twin at about 8.5, 9 weeks. And then I've also miscarried another set of twins right before I had Giovanni. And I've had 2 other miscarriages as well. So I've had a couple miscarriages, unfortunately. But my first pregnancy, 2007, my oldest baby, I love her to pieces. But it was pretty decent. The only bad thing was the freaking nausea. All my girls, all 3 of them, gave me horrible nausea. That is one thing that I can say that has occurred continuously is so for one, when it comes to my girls, I get really nauseous, really nauseous, and I can't do too much sweets. With my boys, I get a little nauseous, but not super bad. I'm extremely active, like on caffeine active with my boys, and I crave sweets. So the only one out of 9 that decided to be a unicorn was my most precious Bam Bam. I was so sure I had to be having twins, and they had to be girls because this little boy, oh my God, put me in the hospital because I was so sick. It was the worst sickness. I don't know what made him so special and different, but oh my God. And when I say I cannot eat sweets with him, man, just the thought of sweets make me gag. Normally, like I said, with my girls is one, with my boys is other, but my Bam Bam said he wanted to be a unicorn. So with my first 2, unfortunately, I had to have C-sections. My first one was not elective. It was emergency. I was in labor for 7 hours, and her heart rate dropped every time I started having a contraction. But the birthing process was, as far as not the birthing, but the laboring process really wasn't bad for me or whatnot. At that point in time, I had a really high pain tolerance, and they were like, "You okay? Are you even feeling the contractions?" I'm like, "A little bit, but not really." And when I was 18, and so I was in labor with her 7 hours, and ended up having to have a C-section. I tried to have a natural birth with my second. Because my doctor, I had the same doctor that I had for my first daughter, whatnot, and the hospital that he worked at didn't do VBACs, and so he had to schedule me to have another C-section. When I say I tried my damnness to have a vaginal birth. I was doing squats, bouncing on the ball, eating dates. I did the one thing that they tell you not to do, but I hear a lot of people doing it, is what's that damn nasty syrup? A nasty clear syrup It tastes so horrible. It's like oil. I can't think of what the name of it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come back to me. But it makes you go poop. And when you're pregnant, it helps to activate contractions. I tried everything or whatnot, and it did not work. So I ended up having a C-section with her. With my first boy. Oh my God, I was in labor with that boy for 26 hours. Yes, 26 hours. And he was early. So he was supposed to be born on his father's birthday. But I had went to the zoo with the church that I was going to with at that time. And did a lot of walking. And what was so funny, my husband at the time was like, don't you go doing all that walking and come home and go into labor. I literally remember this day like the back of my hand. Came home, relaxed for a little bit, took a shower, laid on the bed, and not even on the bed for like 5 minutes, and pop, my water broke. He was like, I told you not to go. Oh, I remember that so vividly or whatnot. But yeah, I was in labor with him for 26 hours. The birthing part wasn't bad, and contractions weren't bad. He was my one that I had to have an epidural. Well, I didn't have to, but I decided to have an epidural with because everything was going on so long, and I was just like, I was tired and so tired of the pain and everything. But I feel like that probably elongated the process. And what? It wasn't a dry birth or anything, thankfully. I had to switch hospitals because the hospital that I was at was not going to allow me. And I was like, no, y'all are not going to do this to me again. I said, nope. I said, I told y'all already. I want to be a chance. I told the emergency people that had came to get me, I said, I want to go to Shands. That is where my doctors are. That is where I want to go. That's where I know I can have a VBAC and not have to worry. It's like, no, it's too far away, da 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 da. I'm like, my contractions were not even that close together. Whatnot. It wasn't no rush to get me to the hospital or anything. He was not like down in the canal or when getting ready to come out or anything. It was not serious. But they ended up thankfully transferring me to Shands, and I had my baby vaginally 26 hours later. The only one I was in labor that long with, and also the only one to tear me. But mind you, he was 4 pounds 11 ounces. How did his little big old head tear me? Only God knows. And it might have been because of whatnot, the long process. I don't know. But he definitely tore me. It wasn't a bad tear, thankfully, where I had to get stitches or anything. So I was very grateful for that. But when I say, oh my God, the pain to go pee and even poop. Ooh, speaking of the pain of going pee and poop after having a baby, the worst pain that you can endure is having to go, not even just go poop, to fart after having a C-section. That is a pain that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Like, fart. Oh, I remember this vividly because my grandmother had came into town or whatnot. I was still living with my mother when I had my first daughter. And my grandmother came into town. And I think I had passed gas in the bathroom and I screamed. Oh my gosh. I screamed when she ran into the bathroom. What's wrong? I said, I just farted and it hurt like hell. Oh my goodness. That hurt so freaking bad. Listen, if you don't have to have a C-section, do not have it. If you can push that baby, push that baby. Now, with my fourth, that baby came quick. I was in labor with him for probably about 6, maybe 7 hours. And I knew I was in labor. I told my ex, I was like, he's coming. Um, I can't remember. I think I had a doctor's appointment earlier that day, and he had to work, and so we had his brother and his brother's girlfriend come watch the other kids while I had to do what I had to do and while Adrian was at work. And I said, I don't think you need to let them leave. This baby is coming. He was like, no, we'll be okay. You know, of course, a lot of men are stubborn. Not all, but a lot of men are stubborn and don't like to listen. And he did not listen. So I went into labor. My water had not broke as of yet. He was like, go get in the tub and just relax and whatnot. You know, they say about taking a bath and all this and that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to my husband. Got in the tub. Labor progressed. At this point in time, I want to say, I don't even know what time it was. I just know it was late. And I was like, he's coming. His head is down there. He's like, no, it's not. I said, I got out the sub, laid on the bed. Adrian, look, his head is down. He's like, oh my God, I said, I told you. So I'm not stupid. I know my body. He called the ambulance. The ambulance came. I'm literally dying in pain, whatnot, because at this point in time, the contractions, as soon as like literally, it was like he knew. He was like, I'm coming, mommy. And the ambulance is coming, so I'm gonna make this harder for you. Oh my God. Every 5 minutes or less, those contractions were hitting. And then when the ambulance actually got there, they went to like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm literally butt naked, covered in a cover because they would not let me get dressed, going down the stairs, having contractions or whatnot. We get to the hospital. The doctor is like, you're not going to be able to have an epidural. You are 9.5 centimeters dilated, and the bag is bulging. My water had not even broke yet. I'm there for about 30 minutes. They're getting everything ready and everything. And like when I say I can feel like his head is literally right there, though my water still had not broke. Girl, oof. I was in pain. that I would say that birth was the most painful for me. Why? I don't know. But if it wasn't for like she had to do something and she went in to check or whatnot, and when she pulled her fingers out, my water broke. As soon as that happened, the little boy was ready because his head popped right out. She was like, all right, honey, your water broke and his head is out. Push. It was like his shoulder has got stuck or something or in a weird position or whatnot. Because, oh my God, when I say he popped out and I thought something broke either on me or him because I heard it and felt the pop. Oh, it was so bad or whatnot. And he came out with that second push. Well, I don't even know if it was a really second. Well, yeah, it was a second push because the first push or whatnot took his head completely out. His head was out, but wasn't fully out or whatnot. And then the second push was the pop. Oh. So, what? Joseph was my late baby. He was almost 44 weeks. It was my late baby. He was due in March, but came April 1st. His birthday was really easy. I'd actually got induced. But that was the only kind of medicine that I had the whole time with him. I did a lot of walking, a lot of squats, a lot of ball bouncing. Doing all the crazy, stuff that they tell you to do, the inverted things and all that and other, trying to get him in position because he was actually going to be born feet first. But thankfully he turned or whatnot. Even what's crazy is that even after being induced, I didn't go into labor until almost a week later. My baby said, I am coming on my own time. But his birth was really easy. Push, push, and he was out. That was 6. No, that was 5. 6 was Joshua. Joshua came at 42 weeks. Very easy. No medicine or whatnot. 6, 7 was Josiah. Unfortunately, I had to have another C-section with Josiah. With Josiah, he will go down and then come back up. He'll go down and come back up. I can't remember the actual term that they use for it, but that's what happened. Number 8 is my beautiful baby girl, Harmony. With her, I was scared. And so that's what prolonged my birth with her, because it was during COVID. And so at that point in time, I had never done a birthing by myself. And I was in the hospital by myself, without my husband, without my kids, because for all my births, my kids and my husband had always been there. And after COVID, that changed everything, whatnot. And so that was the first one I did by myself. Now, but it wasn't the pregnancy wasn't bad at all. She was actually my best girl pregnancy I had. I did get really sick, like I said, with all my girls that get sick, but it wasn't as bad as my other ones. And it was just like pretty smooth and whatnot. I was really, really active with her, working out and everything. Even though oh my gosh, with my girls, they deplete my energy. I don't know what it is. Like I said, with my boys, I get extra high energy, and like sexually and everything. But my girls, for some reason, they just like drain the out of me. But I still did really high intensity workout, walk or whatnot and everything, because I was like, I'm not gonna let this be a long pregnancy. And she came basically right on time. She was due she came a couple days late. She was due on the 21st and she came on the 26th. But it wasn't bad. Now, my last one, number 9. I'm sorry, because this one is, of course, he's 2 years old, my baby, but I went through a lot with him, and it was more mentally than anything, because this was the point where I knew my marriage was in there. I knew my marriage was over, and not because of the fact of what was going on with my girls, because of whatnot. That was the straw end. That was the end once I found all that out. But at that point in time, I knew my marriage was over. I was planning to leave and everything. So, his birthing was very, very much so bittersweet for me. But going into labor with him, I went into labor, started going into labor late that night, and I knew it. And I told my ex, I said, do not go to work. He is going to be here. Because he had to be at work at like 4:30. He had to leave the house like 3:34 to make it to work on time or whatnot. We stayed on the west and he worked on the south. I literally told him when he got up, I said, I am not going to last. I can barely get up and go to the bathroom. I do not need you to go to work. He did not listen. He went to work. 7 o'clock rolls around and I can't even move. That's how bad my contractions are. I had to call the ambulance. He had to come home from work because the kids were there by themselves. And thankfully a police officer stayed with him until he got there. Birthing was really easy. Did it by myself again, but this time I wasn't scared or whatnot, because I had already had in my mind that I was going to be doing a lot of more stuff by myself anyways, because like I said, I knew at that point in time that my marriage was done or whatnot, and was planning my exit strategy, even though I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. But yeah, he popped out very easily, thankfully. And a lot of people worry about the breathing and pain. You literally have to breathe through it. Like I remember with him particularly, the doctor was like, I know you done had a lot of kids, but I didn't see women with 10, 11 kids come in and scream bloody murder. And you're just in here so calm, so collect, Yeah, you grip the bed when the contraction comes, but you are breathing through it. You're relaxed through it. I said, I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to. I know everything is a mind over matter thing. Or whatnot. Like when it comes to pain and getting your body together, like when I know I gotta do something and I gotta get up and my body's hurting, I'm like mind over body, mind over body. I always say that so much to myself because I know it's about the mind versus the body. Yes, it hurts, or my legs might be weak, or whatever the case may be. I always say mind over body to get myself back focused. I'm like, I know I gotta get up. I know I gotta do this, whatever the case may be. And that's literally how I do my birthing as well. It's mind over matter because you relax yourself. You know that the pain is going to come. You already know it's going to come. So you preparing yourself. I'm preparing myself for it and whatnot. Especially when I know about the timing. Like mentally, I can time them out. Even though I don't have a watch, I'm not watching the time. Even though I could have, but I wasn't. And I was just like, just relaxing my mind and my body to be able to do it. And that's like the best thing you can do. Mommies is not hard. It's not easy either, but I love it. Do I want another one? Possibly, or whatnot. I might, depending on if I get into another like long-term relationship and like right now it's kind of just like I think I might want one. I don't know, but finding somebody that I know I'm about to do life with and like we in it to win it 100%. It be like long term going. I might want another one. Kind of been going back and forth about it, but hey, we'll see what happens. All right, it's late. I'm about to go to sleep. All my little ones are asleep. Tomorrow will be another part 2 of the Mommy Chronicles, I guess. I'll find a name for it. Have a good night. Always remember, I love you.